We're very excited about episode 69 as we welcome Scotty from Omos Golf to the
Nice.
podcast. Omos Golf is a company that offers top shelf divot tools. Their Instagram handle is at Omos Golf, OMOSGOLF. Scotty, thanks so much for taking the time and joining us on the podcast.
Hey, glad to be here, fellas. Thanks.
I love the name of your company. And for our listeners, can you tell us a little bit about Omos, like what it means and how you came up with the name?
Yeah, so Omos is Gaelic for respect. And ultimately, when we set out to make this company, we wanted to make products and accessories that ultimately respect the game and increase longevity of the game. And so when we were playing around with names, that's why we landed on Omos. And, with the Gaelic Irish background, that just kind of fit and made sense. And we had a lot of different ideas on what we thought we should name it, but ultimately we felt like that's what stuck. And we liked the way that it looked when we started throwing our logos together. So, without overdoing it, that's kind of how we landed on it.
Yeah, so normally when we have people on, I ask them to send me just like their logo and whatever, just so I could like make some promo stuff on Canva and then get it out there. You guys sent me a folder, like a zip file full of these. And I was like,
Super
oh,
organized.
yeah. And I was like, there's like 15 of these. Like I thought we had a bunch of logos that nobody knows about, but like, oh my God.
So we had a whole mess to choose from.
Yeah, I picked the orange one because the orange was my
I,
favorite.
I like it. So I was telling you guys at the start of this that I work for an advertising agency. And so with that, I've got a lot of connections with like graphic designers. Without doing like too much of a promo, but one of my best friends created this logo. His name's Tim. He runs a design agency out of Austin called Track Meet. So he created it for us. So that's why we have like the official folder, which is nice. And I think if you hop on our Instagram and see like how we do like our branding and marketing, we take a lot of pride in like what our brand looks like and making sure it looks clean. So we try to keep it as tight as we can.
Well, it looks good. Yeah, you guys do a great job of that. We'll do a little plug here right here, but this is the tool, and this is Don lost it. The Greenskeeper divot tool. And then so it comes in 4 different colors: the Ace Black, Bunker Sand,
So I have the clay red.
and then the Bermuda Green.
The green one's cool.
Yeah,
I was
and I
torn
brought-
between the green.
I actually brought the green one down, so that's a good
Yeah,
plug.
very good.
Yeah.
Sick.
So yeah.
Yeah, super sleek design. Can you tell us a little bit of like where the design kind of how it came about?
First of all, thank you for engraving our logo on it, or at least
For sure.
the name. I thought that was super cool.
Light, but
That was super nice of you.
yeah, thanks
You're
a lot.
welcome.
I play with these things all the time, man. These are great.
It is. It's like you said,
So-
Scotty, not to interrupt you real quick, but like you were saying before, it's like almost like a fidget spinner.
Oh, and like the ASMR, like I don't know if people hear this, but just like, oh, that was bad. Hold on. Like, come on.
Super nice. High quality.
My ADD's done.
But so
Yeah.
where did the sleek design come from? How did it come about?
Yeah, so my partner Jason owns a product design company and manufacturing and engineering company, and so I actually went through the process with them as like one of their clients. So we went through iterations and iterations of trying to figure out what the right design was for us. We had tons of conversations about like why we wanted to do like a pocket knife opening instead of a like a traditional push out deployment like you see on a lot of the tools. So the design came from really like honestly like a year of iteration on what we felt like was best. Ultimately, I talked to you guys about this. I'm a big classic car guy, and so it was ultimately inspired by for us like the Porsche 939 is what I think is my favorite car. And so what I like to say is that like with the prongs out, it looks like a Porsche with its headlights on, like from a top down view. So that's yeah. So that's where
That's sick. I didn't even realize that.
Yeah, that's where the inspiration came from. And then from a design standpoint, like we made lots of conscious decisions around what we liked and what we didn't like. We literally poured over every detail. So I'll dive into it further, but there's a reason why it's the pocket knife deployment instead of the spring-loaded deployment. We were talking about this earlier, but like the ball marker envelope is designed specifically for a reason. We like the way that it clicks in, but ultimately we were sick of losing our ball markers, and we wanted to try to design something that ultimately held on to it a little bit better than anything else that we saw in the market. And then we chose to use super high end materials. It's kind of like why the price point's at where it's at. So it's actually manufactured in a pocket knife manufacturing facility. So it's not made in some, it's not made in some cheap facility that just kind of pumps out divot repair tools. So we use pocket knife manufacturing technology. It's made with high-end aluminum on the case of the body, and then that's ceramic coated and then ultimately painted in the same kind of paint that they paint cars with. So like high-end cars use the same paint that we use. And then the fork itself is made with a stainless steel that's ultimately black powder coated on the end there. So yeah, that's what it's made of. That's how we kind of got there. But yeah, it really took us a year to get it to where it is today. And at some point I can like send you guys all the different iterations we have, or you can scroll through our Instagram and kind of see the process.
Sure.
Our social media manager does a good job of outlining like over the last year, like everything that we went through to get to where it's at today.
So I love stuff like this. One, I love Porsches. I love them. My favorite, I don't know if I should say it. I'm into like the weirder cars out there. So like I love the Panamera line, the hatches and everything. Like I drive a Hyundai Elantra, right? Everyone's like, "Oh, it's boring." Mine's a wagon.
It's a Porsche with Hyundai Elantra.
Yeah, yeah.
emblems on
So
it.
my Hyundai Elantra is a wagon, and my first car was a wagon. So like obviously I love the Panamera. I actually got into car photography last year, so I shot a 911 Turbo S,
I love
Yeah, you told
those.
me about that.
and that thing, money, it's getting tuned. And I've seen some videos that the guy posted on Instagram. It spits fire right now. Thing is sick. And I actually bought one of the tools. So you sent us two. Thank you so much for that.
Yeah, I appreciate that.
I
Wow.
bought one and I gave it to that guy because he plays golf with his Porsche and everything, and he's been dailing the Porsche even through the winter. The guy is nuts, but loves it. So the fact that I get to send him this and be like, "Hey, man, the tool is made out of like your car paints and everything like that," I'm so
Yeah.
excited. But also just like the little like design features and everything. Um, Before I had this, I had one of the Swiss Army knife golf tools. I don't know if you've seen those. It has like everything, and it would just clip on my bag. I
Yep.
lost one when we were playing Como.
Mm-hmm.
So I had to buy, and my dad got it for me, so I had to buy a new one because I felt bad.
That's exactly what I was going to piggyback off that is I've had a couple of those divot tools that have the magnet where it sits inside, and it's a really cool one because it could be from a golf course that you went and played, and it's like kind of a more of a not memorabilia, but it's something that you kind of remember and like, oh, it's kind of a keepsake type of thing. But
Yeah,
this
absolutely.
this does not look like you would lose it because I've lost multiple ball markers on my tools.
I lost the whole
Oh, you
tool.
lost the whole tool,
I
yeah.
lost the whole tool.
But like normally
We talked about that a lot as we were going through the design process. Like, we hear all of it on our social. Like, it's an expensive tool. It's not. I know that you can buy one on Amazon for $10 or something from your clubhouse for $15. So if you're going to spend the money to buy our tool, we wanted to make sure that we did everything we could to make sure that you held onto it. So with it comes like a care package or like a care instructions like booklet as well. But then also just like the felt holder, ultimately just like keep it and clip it somewhere, put it away when you're done with it. The last thing we want is for you guys to lose it. And so, we recognize that there's additional value there, or there's additional money that you're spending to get the value. And because it's like I was saying, because it's made with all these high-end products, we want to make sure you hold on to it. So we're doing everything we can to make sure that you don't lose it.
Yeah, and I'll pay for something if if the quality's there and it has like a cool story.
Mhm.
So like I know we are talking about this. Like I just got my new pocket knife. I normally have a knife on me. The great part is YouTube does not pay us for anything, so I'm gonna show it all off. So like normally I carry a Benchmade, right? So like right now I just got the bailout, a nice Tonto, but it's super smooth, super easy to open, stuff like that.
Yep.
This thing, I mean, I'm a little sweaty. It's hot in here. Just butter, like super smooth. So I feel like for those people who like a good pocket knife, they're gonna really enjoy this if they play golf, or even if they like the Porsches, or just like have an affinity for just like good quality stuff. And realistically, it's not that expensive.
Yeah, I mean, golf
Yeah,
is expensive in general, right? So it's like if people are gonna like pay the money for something quality, like they're not really gonna have an issue paying for
Yeah,
something like
like
this.
I don't remember the price of these, but
Here's
like today I saw Malbon has a ball marker for like $35.
there's
yeah,
the case there. Just so I just wanted to show people who watch on YouTube, and the packaging and everything is super nice. I mean, and everything's recyclable. It looks like, I believe.
Yeah, that's right. So the packaging is nothing's made with plastic. Everything's recyclable. That was by design. Like I was kind of telling you guys earlier, the thought here is sustainability and longevity and all the stuff that we're going to make. This is our first product. We've got more coming down the line. I can share that with you if you guys want.
Yeah,
but
that was my
you
next
know,
question.
yeah, we definitely wanted to produce packaging that ultimately was, biodegradable and sustainable as well too.
It's gonna be like the sponsor for like the podcast, as far as like you're just gonna hear like us continuously opening it
I
and
can hear
closing it. I
him.
know.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's all right. I'm
it's like
for it.
addicting. Yeah.
It is.
So we kind of, I guess we've kind of already talked about the main difference between this Greenskeeper divot tool and other divot tools. Like you said, it's price wise, you might pay a little bit more, but again, you're gonna get that quality and it's gonna last. You don't have to really worry about losing the
Yeah.
actual
When
ball marker.
we get a lot of questions about the price point, and I'm like, my favorite thing that in my DMs to ask people, and they're like, hey, like, how do you justify a $75, divot tool? And I'm like, okay, well, what balls do you hit? And most of the time what you hear is like, oh, I hit a Titleist Pro V1. I'm like, okay, so you're gonna spend $45 on 12 balls that you're gonna lose over. I mean, for me, I'm gonna lose over, a handful of
Majority.
rounds.
Yeah.
A handful of rounds, and but you're not gonna spend the same amount on another accessory for it. So you guys kind of hit on it for me. You made the point already that, like, golf's not a cheap sport. We're not trying to make it more expensive. We're just trying to give you something quality that ultimately will, last you forever. But what we're hoping is that, and what we notice when people get in their hands, like you guys have been saying, it's like you feel the quality once it's there. And if you don't, like what I've told people, it's like, hey, if you don't like it, send it back and we'll refund your money. It's no big deal. So yeah.
I feel like the people that would complain about the price are also the same people that like get the new driver every year. Where it's like they'll spend, $500-600
Yeah.
on like the new Stealth or the Paradigm or whatever, but then it's like, oh, $70 for a tool. I'll never do that. It's like, well, you just spent $600 on a new driver just to slice the ball into
Yeah.
the woods.
And the fact is, all you got to do is follow us for like a month, and we're going to run a sale. You're not if you're paying $75, like, yeah, we're running all sorts of marketing and advertising. So just
think
wait
the
it
one I
out. You
gave-
won't have to pay. You won't
I
have to
think
pay
the one I gave
$75.
as a gift, I got like through the Black Friday deal.
Yeah.
So it was like $55. And
You
I was
just-
like, perfect.
Do you get like DMs just like, hey, like $50 good? You ever just get some of
Nah.
those like weird random DMs that are just like ridiculous? He's
No.
like, I can't even respond to this.
That's so fun. We get ridiculous DMs. We get ridiculous requests all the time. Actually, the most ridiculous stuff is like people will ask me to just send it to them for free, and then they'll say that they'll promote it. And I'm like, well, I'm like, I want these in the hands of as many people as possible, but it's also, we're also trying to run a
Costs
business
money.
here. Like, I can't
Yeah,
really
exactly.
just send it to you for free and hope that you'll talk it up to your buddies. So that's kind of the most ridiculous as it gets. But it's funny when we're going to make a big push to move into retailers, and so we're talking with a bunch of just like shops and retailers and just wholesale opportunities, and those conversations can get interesting too. But they're more fair. But the funniest is the random guys who reach out and they're like, oh, I'll just promote it at my club, and it's a high-end product, and so if you just send it to me for free, I can get it in there. I'm like, well, all right, I don't know about that.
If you can cover shipping too, that would be great.
Yeah, that's right.
Well, and that's why I wanted to make just a short reel about it, because it gets put on the podcast page. Okay, we have almost 900 followers, I think, which is unreal.
There you go.
And then Derek Scott, who knows how many at this point.
Almost at 130K.
I looked at it today. I looked at
Yeah.
it today. What's maybe at some point during this interview I'll ask you about it, but like it's quite the following, man. That's
You
incredible.
don't want to see his phone. It's been going off this entire
Yeah,
time.
it's constant.
It's going off right now.
Do you hear my wife? When I was like, no, I'm just kidding. She's a sweetheart. I was gonna add that in there, but no, like my phone constantly always is constantly making some sort of notifications.
Yeah. But anyways, when people send us stuff, I want to make a point to where we can, the least thing we can do is either make you a reel, put you on the pod as like a thank you.
Mhm.
But like
we appreciate it.
we generally don't do that for products we don't like. Does that make sense?
Yeah, we were trying to grow the game. So if we
Yeah.
find something that we really like that we think that's good for our consumer or for our listeners and followers, that's the companies that we kind of target. So
That actually kind of reminds me, Sonny from Tomo was saying that people would just DM him for free shoes.
Yeah, all the time.
And then they just did a giveaway and they're like, you don't have to DM us now.
That's
Scotty,
funny.
you literally so like I'm that guy, and Dom here, he kind of just goes with the flow. For me, I like to kind of have some questions and whatnot, but you've literally
Yeah.
like already like brought up, it's like you're reading my sheet here.
He doesn't know what to do now.
Yeah, I know. My gosh, no. But like you talked about like your target audience. I was gonna ask you. So like I'm assuming most of it's all online, but are you in any like pro shops, or are you thinking going you just talked about kind of retail. Is that something you want to talk about a little bit?
Yeah, for sure. So we've only been selling the product since June of last year. So we're really happy with the footprint that we've made already. Everything has been, well, not everything. The majority of our sales has been direct to consumer. That's my background in marketing. And so basically everything you see there was built by me, and with the help of some graphic design teams and stuff like that. And that's been the majority of our effort for this first year, was moving in there. You guys asked me earlier that you thought that there was 3 of us, and there is. So there's me and Jason. We're the two founders of the company, and I can go into the history of how we got started. That might be cool if you guys want to. But then we also have a head of sales who's our third partner, I guess is what you could say. He's a minority partner, but and so he's going to help us push this year into wholesale. So we have a couple of shops here locally in Salt Lake City that sell the tool retail. We've seen good success in that so far, but obviously we want to make a much bigger footprint this year. So that's the big push for us this year. We'll continue to expand the way we market online and expand our direct to consumer channel. But I really want to see us in a lot more stores here. So like I said, I think the biggest hurdle that we run into is that price point. But once people hold it and they see it and they play with it, we sell a lot of them. And my proof with that is we've done a lot of like local events. So we'll just like host golf tournaments. I'll throw up a tent and set out tools. And we see a lot of people who use, hold it in their hands, open it, deploy it, fall in love with it right away and purchase it on the spot. So I think there's a lot to be said about getting over that barrier. And so we want to make a big direct to consumer push here over this year. Yeah.
I'd love to walk into like a Dick's Sporting Goods or like Golf Galaxy and be like, I have one of those. Like,
Yeah,
I think that'd be really
we
cool.
had him on our podcast.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hopefully someday that'd be great. I mean, obviously like Dick's. So, Golf Galaxy is owned by Dick's Sporting Goods. So it'd be awesome to be in both of those spots and, see it right next to all the other accessories as you're getting ready to walk out. That would be a huge goal for us.
Scotty, another thing that you kind of talked about that I wanted to ask you was, obviously you have this divot tool. I think you have some shirts and a hat, I think, out on the website. But
Yep.
you mentioned that you also have some other products that you guys are working on in the near future. Can you talk a little bit about what you have? What you guys got brewing?
So we've got a product pipeline here. I was telling you, my partner Jason owns a product development agency. And so we've got a lot of stuff queued up that we'll pull the trigger on the right time. I think next for us is going to be a line of towels. So, I'm sure you guys have seen a ton of golf towels, and all I can really say is that ours are going to, just like we did with the divot tool, I think they're going to set the standard for what quality towels will look like. There's some specific features and functionality there that I think that you guys will find different from everything else, specifically around like being able to clean your tools and being able to clean off your ball or whatever it is that you're trying to do there. So I don't want to go too far into the details yet because we haven't released that, but that's going to be what's next for us is a bag towel. And then we're also going to have a pocket towel. So something you can keep in your front or your back pocket to have handy for you. And then from there, we've talked about a lot of different things, club cleaning kit, or we've talked about like different types of tees. But I think the towels are definitely up next. And then we've got a couple of other things lined up that ultimately, hopefully, one, the biggest thing for us is making high quality products. But then two, just, help enhance your game, help take care of your equipment, help take care of the course, help take care of, your fellow people around you out there on the golf course as well too.
So you should make a towel for glasses because I lose mine all the time. That would help me out quite a bit. I buy like 4 of them.
Speaking
There
of
we
towels,
go.
though, the hip towel, I honestly, I like I've seen it on social media, but I've never seen anyone that I've played with actually like have a hip towel, which I don't know if
So,
that's a
oh, go
popular
ahead.
thing
Sorry.
in different. Oh no, I was just gonna say I don't know if that's like a popular thing out in certain areas or certain regions. Maybe Minnesota just hasn't caught up, or maybe I'm playing the wrong courses. But obviously, a golf towel is on every bag. But I mean, I've
Yeah,
seen
so
some
everybody's
people
got a
bring a
towel in their
towel.
bag. Everybody's got a towel in their bag. Um, Specifically with like it's actually like a pocket towel, so it'll go in like your back pocket or in your front pocket or something instead of like on your hip. I mean, small detail there.
Sure,
But the thought there is, it's like, hey, if you, I don't know, if you hit a green, or if you're like me and it's in the spring and you're in the rough and whatever, and you've got a bunch of like dirt on your ball or something, and you've left your bag on the cart that's 50 feet away or something like that, on the other side of the fairway. You can clean off your ball without walking back and going to or getting your hand messy, or wiping the ball on your pants or something like that.
sure.
We actually really like that idea. The hope is that we can keep it um, one, functional and easy to use, but two, discreet. Like, we don't want it in your way. We don't want it, the feedback that we've got from people is that they don't want something hanging off themselves, because golfers it'll throw them off in some way.
Yeah, that
So
was kind of my thought. That's was like because I've seen some people like they'll clip it on their belt loop, and I'm like, I've
yeah,
only seen that like I said on social media. I'm like, I don't even know if that's a real thing, but but
it's
that
much
makes more
smaller.
sense. Yeah,
It's
that
much
makes much
smaller.
more
Think of it
sense.
like a the size of a handkerchief,
Sure.
instead of like you know a fuller length dish towel or something.
Awesome. Well, I'm super excited about that. Hopefully, so
This
we
year.
always, yeah, as I say, hopefully we can see that coming out sooner than later. Because I mean, with the quality of the divot tool, I'm assuming that's going to be quality towel too. So that's exciting.
Well, we love towels. Like it's
Yeah,
such like a dumb thing, but like towels are the best. And like
it's important
Yeah,
for the game of golf.
oh yeah, and we're
and
like
for
spoiled
us,
with our low skull ferals, Serapa tacos, towels.
Towels.
So like I can't wait to see yours.
yeah, and I think you can go to your favorite brand and get a towel that's branded. I think that we've shown that we're going to do something a little, we'll do something a little bit different. And like I said, I'm going to hold off on the surprise detail
Sure.
just until it's time. But you guys are going to be happy with what we've kind of come up with. It's going to hopefully solve some problems for you.
Does it have like a built-in like beer cooler?
Um, who does that? Like Pins and Aces or something like that. They
I
do
think they
like the
do
beer
something like
sleeves.
that
Yeah,
actually.
they
I
do
Yeah.
have
the
one
beer
from
sleeves.
I just talked about this last week and you missed it because
I
you weren't
know.
there.
I was not. Yeah.
Yeah. I was thinking just like maybe it like doubles as like a koozie. I think that'd be kind of cool.
So
That's cool.
what was
That's
what was
cool.
it? It was a video I seen yesterday or the day before, and it literally looked like a laptop briefcase, and he like opened it up and there was like 12 or 14 beers in there, and it like literally looked like he was like he was going to the office, like he was just like walking to the golf cart, and he's like, "Gee, check this out." And he unzipped it, and there's yeah like 14
I've
beers.
uh I've
That's
seen all
insane.
sorts of like interesting and funny um alcoholic beverage dispensing items that have come out. Like, I was talking about the beer sleeve that like
Yep.
fits in your bag, but then I
I
also
have
saw
one.
like
Yeah.
I also saw like it might be Pins and Aces too. I'm not trying to like promote them up. But they've got like a liquor dispenser thing too. I don't know if you guys seen that.
Oh,
Like,
have you
it,
seen the one that looks like a golf club?
Is
yeah,
that
that's
that?
exactly. It looks like a
Yes,
golf
okay.
Yep.
club, and it has a shaft that like
Yep.
fits down, I guess, into like a liquor bottle. And you press a button and it'll dispense. I don't know. I thought that was pretty cool too.
Kind of like remind me
Some
like a caddy shack or something like that, where they have
Yeah,
the beer dispenser right in the golf bag.
yeah.
Yeah,
That's like
I have one of the sleeves and it's from Nixon and they make watches. And I was like,
Oh,
why the hell do
yeah.
they
I
have
know
this? But
Nixon.
I bought one and it fits directly in like where I put my putter, and my putter is just long enough to where it covers it. So like when we played Giants Ridge, they took our bags, and I was
oh
like,
yeah.
oh no, they're gonna find the beer. The putter covers it.
That's his tip. Just crack. You can take a beer. That's for the guy that's taking your bag.
Well, it was a girl. I don't think
You
she was
got it.
21.
Yeah, no
Although
way.
it's up on the range. Who cares? I
uh,
didn't say that.
um, I wanted to ask you, because obviously golf is a really growing. I mean, it's growing like crazy and in a good way. I feel.
Yeah.
Have you been out to the PGA
I gotta
show,
put
or
that
did you
down.
get a chance to? Have you been out there before? Have you got a chance to even?
We actually went, I know it just happened. We didn't go this year, but we went last year, like right
Oh,
as
you
we
did.
were getting started. We didn't have a booth or anything like that, but we were new to the industry, so we wanted to get a lay of the land. So yeah, we went last year. Um, I think there was still some like COVID hesitancy associated
Mhm.
last year, so it was a much smaller event last year. But we met some great people and got some initial feedback. I think at that time for the Greenskeeper, all we had was a prototype, and we met with some buyers and got some really quality feedback on what they thought about it. So that was good. There were some design changes that came out of a little bit of focus group there. But yeah, the PGA show is great. I'm hoping that we're back there next year. We discussed going this year and throwing up a booth, but ultimately it just didn't quite make sense with where we were at. So I have 2 kids, and my daughter. We just had my daughter. She's 5 months old, and then my business partner uh just had a son like 3 weeks after, and so with like new kids and stuff like that, we just felt like we'll take this year off, focus on like what we can control with our marketing and our
Yep.
ways to go to direct to consumer right now, get really dialed in for this year, and then hopefully hit the PGA show next year with ultimately for us, I think we need more products, and so we need to continue to push, get past, have the Greenskeeper be our flagship product, but get past to some more product offerings, some more apparel offerings. We've got some other ideas there as well too.
Yeah, I've literally talked about going there for the last like 3 or 4 years, and I haven't made my way out there. But everyone that I've talked to though is, I mean, it's such a really good. Like you said, even if you just get like that day pass or like where you can walk around and talk to people, I mean, you meet so
Yeah,
many people. So that's kind of, I think, with in your situation, like you said, you don't have a lot of products out yet, so it kind of just makes sense to walk around and kind of get a feel for it. But
The cool thing for us is like we don't have any product, right? Like this is
yeah,
our product.
yeah,
But we've talked to so many people that, were out there this year. Like the Vibes guys were out there,
yep,
which is funny because he's wearing a Vibes hat. I got my little
yeah.
crew
We
neck
didn't,
on.
yeah, I didn't
yeah.
We
plan
didn't plan to match.
it.
But like last week we had the Kid Caddy on and he was out there.
Yeah.
Um, like I've seen so many people that we've talked to. The Bogey Boys are out there.
Yep,
Why? I don't know, but why not?
it's a huge. I mean,
The
it's yeah. Even if you're a
the
social
Kid
media,
Caddy is the guy that the stroller with the golf bag. Well, it's not a golf bag, but it
Genius.
holds it.
It turns
Smart.
a stroller into a golf bag.
yeah,
Yeah, that's smart.
Genius. I know. I loved him.
yeah. I unfortunately I wasn't able to make it. But yeah, he's a local guy here too, and I think he
Oh,
took
cool.
yeah fourth, I think, in like new
Like
golf
new product or
products. Yeah,
whatever.
so
I thought I
that's
saw
pretty
that. Maybe you guys posted that or someone else, but I did see that they they got fourth
which is
place
I
and
thought that was
new
really
pretty
cool.
products.
big
So
achievement.
cool.
Yeah, accomplishment.
We should like put the podcast up and be like, what place would we get? Fifth.
Yeah, fifth. Before we so we're definitely gonna talk. Obviously it's a big week in sports.
Big
Super Bowl
week.
Sunday is coming up, and then obviously the Waste Management Open is taking place this weekend as well. So we'll definitely talk about that. Is there anything you want to talk about, more business related that you can think of that maybe I missed or that we didn't ask you that you'd like to give some input on? I know we talked a little bit beforehand too about the Oregon. You're from Oregon. We'd like to definitely talk
Yep.
golf ban and all that. But is there anything business related that you can think of that you might want to add?
No, I mean, I think that everyone that listens to this and is interested just needs to know that we really think that we've created the best diva tool in the game from a quality standpoint, from a longevity standpoint. We say this a lot. Like we want this to be the last diva tool you'll ever use. So we hope that you pass it down from generation to generation. Actually, the origin of this and the idea came from my grandfather, who passed down his pocket knife to me when he passed. I still have it. So that's why we went with the pocket knife design. I don't think I hit on that or anything like that yet.
No,
So,
that's really cool. Yeah.
we really do want this to be like an heirloom item and something that, like I said before, we want it to be the last one you'll ever have. 50 years from now, hopefully we hear about people getting them passed down, and hopefully we're much bigger than we are now. But that's the idea. And so give us I think the last thing I'd say is just like, if you're interested, give it a shot. I don't think you'll be disappointed.
Also, if you do buy one, I attached it to my bag with the little S carabiner thing.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah, with
Those work great. Yeah, I think I got like the size 3 and it works perfectly.
there was one other question I wanted to ask you was we'd mentioned earlier that it comes in 4 colors. Is that something that you've talked about of adding different colors down the road?
Pink
Yeah,
one would
so
be
we
sweet.
actually have a pink one. We
Azalea pink.
Yeah, there you go.
so
Masters.
actually you're
Our
hitting
logo.
on exactly what we've talked about in the future. So we kind of Dominic, I think we talked about this early on. I'm a big sneakerhead and
Mm-hmm.
like big fan of like Nike drops and stuff like that. And so in the future, what we want to do is come out with like limited edition runs of like, yeah, like an azalea pink, um, 1 to 50 numbered divot tool for the Masters, or specialty ball markers, or and I think that you guys will probably see that in the years to come here. But like, yeah, here's a pimento cheese sandwich, colored divot tool where like the outsides are white and the inside is like the yellow for the pimento cheese. So yeah, we're gonna do all sorts of limited edition runs in the future. I was telling you, like, my background is in like marketing, and I've got a lot of graphic design friends, and so we'll probably do a lot of that in the future with artists as well too. So yeah, a lot more colors and colorways to come. We're just what I'll say right now is we're getting our feet underneath us and getting ready to do some, I think, some pretty cool stuff that you don't really see in the golf industry. And like I said, it was sponsored by sneakers, and I'm also like not as into it, but like a trading, like, basketball card collector, and
Oh,
like
yeah.
you can get like rare basketball cards and stuff like that. Kind of the same thought process.
I just pulled a Bradley Beal jersey card.
Oh, did you?
Yeah, out of
Yeah.
a baseball card pack.
You did?
Yeah,
I thought it was a
yeah.
you have a baseball card?
Yeah,
That's
dude,
crazy.
I don't buy any other baseball cards. So just to like touch on the tools again, if you're doing a Azalea pink one, I want to cut because I said it.
You
And my
did
cut,
say it first.
He gets a royalty.
I don't want a royalty. I just want one of the tools.
Well,
That would be
we'll
I
send
like
you
it.
one for sure. We'll send you
Okay.
one for sure.
I'll
It's on the podcast.
Hold me
yeah,
to it.
I'll hold you to it.
It's on. It's
Um,
on now. Yeah.
It's on wax. Also, I may or may not have just bought the Jordan 4 golf shoes on GOAT. So
My favorite golf shoes are my favorite shoes in general. Let's talk about being a sneakerhead. Or so I have they're the they're the golf shoes, but they're the Jordan 5 Grape golf shoes from the Wingfoot US Open. So they
mhm.
made specific Wingfoot. I wish I had them with me right here, but I don't. So that tournament that the US Open that Bryson won at Wingfoot a couple years ago. Uh, those are my favorite shoes, and I also have like some Air Maxes from the Masters a few years back as well too. So I'm right there with you. That I like to have a shoe game on the golf course that
For sure.
make, look good, feel good, play good, I think is what a lot
Yeah.
of people say. Yeah.
That's the one really cool thing about the way the golf game is growing is that like the whole fashion sense, like we're both big sneakerheads as well. And it's like it's
Yeah.
awesome because I mean Jordan, I mean we could have this debate, but obviously LeBron James is almost about to break the scoring record, but I'd still
I was going to talk about that too. You might do it
okay,
tonight.
yeah. I'm 33, so like
God, you're old.
my all-time favorite player is still MJ. And I am a Kobe guy too, but I'm a Michael Jordan fan. But you
Yeah.
gotta throw LeBron obviously up there because I mean the things he's doing at the age that he is, and it's like that fine wine. It's like he almost like looks in better shape as like the older he's got. I mean he's thinned out a lot, but and you can tell he's definitely aging, but he's still like putting on crazy performances on it, day in
I
and day
don't
out.
think
So
the internet will come for me if I say that he's lost a quarter of a step. Like, is that okay to say?
no,
But
I think you're right.
I don't think he's as like I'm not a basketball guy unless it's like the Timberwolves because I don't know. Like I grew up in like the era of Kevin Garnett playing with Wally Zerbiak, and
Yeah.
Yeah.
to me that's my favorite. Like everyone's like, "Oh, Michael's the best," and I'm like, "Dude, have you not seen KG play? Like, dude, KG's huge, plays defense and can score. Like, shut up. It's KG. I fully understand that Michael is the best, but for me, it's KG.
Yeah.
Where was I going?
Well, everybody has their own favorite, right? So I live
Yeah.
in Salt Lake City, but I'm from outside of Portland, Oregon originally. And so my favorite basketball player all time is Dame. And I love Dame
Oh.
Lillard, and
He's so good.
watching him and with like kind of transformed that franchise. And like being a Blazer fan, there's lots of years of hurt there. I think that Minnesota Timberwolves fans can maybe,
Oh yeah.
have some sentiment there.
A little too
But
well.
yeah, but going from like Brandon Roy, and then when I was a kid, it was Clyde Drexler, and MJ used to go up. If you're old and you're 33, I'm
I,
older than you. So
I know those,
so
yeah, but I know exactly what Brandon Roy actually played for the Wolves for a short period of time at the
he
end of his
did.
career.
He
It,
did,
it's
yeah.
hard because like I'm clearly the youngest one here. So like I
And
said, I grew up with Kevin Garnett, Wally
yeah,
Zerbiak.
and he's a big baseball guy, and I like baseball, but I'm way more into the basketball
See, when
side.
you said fine wine, I got mad because like if you talk about fine wine in sports, it's got to be Verlander for baseball. I mean, dude tears ACL, marries
Kate Upton.
Kid Upton, and then wins a Cy Young over the age of
That's
40.
true.
Like that's
What a
unreal.
career. So I
So
played
So
baseball in college. Before I got into golf, I played baseball. So I could play baseball growing up, played baseball in college. I was, still really into baseball. I think I'm like more into golf now, but talk about a career, Justin Verlander. Like,
I
I don't
mean,
know. But
dude shreds his arm, comes back, wins the World Series, wins the Cy Young, and then just signs a monster deal with the Mets for 2 years.
we literally are covering every sport
we
topic
went
possible.
through
Unreal.
it. We went through it.
Some dude got rocked the
I
other
seen
day.
that, yeah. Yeah, I did see that.
We got to get back to the golf picks though.
Yeah.
I
Oh
spent
yeah, we can do
I
that. We're
spent
definitely
time
gonna
making
cover
that.
that for
Oh,
sure.
yeah, yeah.
But I just wanted to touch base on like you said, you're originally from Oregon.
Yep.
Um, Bandon Dunes. Can you talk about that? Have you played there? What are some other courses that maybe, I mean, Bannon is kind of like the Mecca, I think, out in that area as far as
Yep.
like staycations or golf package
Yeah.
deals.
Didn't you guys just play? I thought I saw stories about it.
Yeah. So, yeah, I'm
I got
from
jealous.
Oregon originally. A lot of my buddies are from there, and we're fortunate that Bannon is 3 hours away from a lot of my like really close buddies from growing up's home. Um, so I've been there twice the last 2 years. So I do a golf tournament every year with my buddies, just like small, like 8 to 12 of us. We've got a trophy, whatever. But and we bounced around from place to place. We played like the Monterey Peninsula. We played Central Oregon, but we went to Bannon last year, and I don't know if I can really overhype it enough, but like we got through the week last year, and before we were checking out, my buddy like threw down his credit card and he's like, put it on the schedule for next year, like schedule it up already. Like there was no debate on where to go.
Wow.
I
That
just
good.
I don't know. Um I don't know if I can say that I've played anything else like it. I've not been to Scotland or Ireland or anything like that. I've not played internationally really. But it's just a different feeling when you're there. Um, what I love about it is like everything's just like centered around golf. It's like this big property, but it's in the middle of nowhere and there's just nothing else to like do or think about. And like everybody that's there is just like you. They're with their friends, they're with their family, having a great time. Um, Golfing and getting exhausted and maybe beat up on the Oregon coast because it's not exactly the like weather friendliest place of all time. But the courses are just incredible. I think the rankings would show that.
Yep.
If I were to, I mean, I could try to compare it to something, but I don't know if I really can because there's these like 5 world-class golf courses in the span of a couple miles. You stay on the property. Um, a couple great little bars and restaurants on the property as well too. And you don't have to do anything but just be there and be present, be with your friends, make memories. I don't know, you guys, if you guys get a chance, I would definitely say it's worth making it out there. And here's the
Yeah.
pro tip is that the Southern Oregon coast, um, the weather's the same there year round. So you can play Bandon in January or you can play in August, and the chances of you getting good weather are the same.
I didn't know
The
that.
but the prices in January are going to be, half the price. So the pro tip is to go, make like we did it in January and February. We had great weather 9 of the 10 days I've been there. One pretty bad day this year, but we still golfed and played through it and had a great time. But it's special, man. It's
That's what
special.
I've
It's
heard.
a special place.
Yeah, the only two negative things that I've ever heard is it's very weather dependent. Like the weather could
Yeah.
be hit or miss. Like you could get there and I mean, the wind is insane. And then the other thing is, I think they're making it a lot more flexible, but it's the like getting there from like out of state. Like I know they've like opened like another airport, I believe, but it's really hard
Yeah,
as far as
it is hard. And so even like, I'm in Salt Lake, so it's an easy flight to get back to Oregon, right? But um, so you fly into Portland, and it's a 3 hour drive from Portland, a 3+ hour, call it 3-4 hour drive from Portland. You can fly into Eugene, 2 hours from there, and then the close airport that you're talking about is it's in North Bend, which is just like right or Coos Bay. It's just 10 miles north of where Bannon is. But I'd imagine you're gonna have to take some regional jets to get there. It's not going to be
Yeah.
a straight flight. So yeah, it's a trek to get there, but I've traveled all day there a couple times and never regretted getting in and out of there.
So
It's
January or
totally worth it.
February. That's the pro tip. I'm gonna make note of that because that is definitely on
Yeah.
my list to play. And before we get switched talking about the Waste Management Open, I don't know if you're familiar with they bought a property out in Wisconsin, which obviously we're in Minnesota, so right next door, but it's called Sand Valley Resort. Have you checked that out or have you heard of that
Yeah,
resort?
I'm now we're getting nerdy here. I'm super familiar with Sand Valley. I haven't played it. My business partner Jason has. He played it last year. He played both Sand Valley and Mammoth Dunes over there. And what I'm most excited for is the new course that they're building, the Lido course. I don't know if you guys know anything about the Lido.
I've seen that they like did like the groundbreaking of it and it's supposed to be open, I think next year or 2000, either 24 or 25, I believe, but I don't know the specifics on what like separates it. But I know I've heard good
Yeah.
things from the other two courses.
So the Lido, so you guys know Pine Valley,
Yep.
the best golf course in the U.S., maybe best golf course in the world, depending on who you ask. Back in the 1920s, there was a golf course called the Lido on Long Island, and Pine Valley and the Lido were ranked 1 or 2, depending on whatever list you were looking at that point.
Sure.
Then I think it was World War II rolled around, and they had to level the Lido, and it went out of business for like a naval yard or something like that. So the guys who own Sand Valley, the Kaiser family, did a bunch of research on the Lido and ultimately hired architects to build out not like a replica of it, but what the Lido was out there. And so I'm super stoked to play it. I'm hoping I play it the next couple of years here. With the two kids, I can only swing one golf trip a year, one out of state golf trip a year.
I mean,
So
you could get a kid caddy and
Yeah, Kid Caddy, bring them
bring them with me. Yeah.
they definitely didn't pay me to promote, but like it works.
I think I would probably end up playing that first before Bannon just because it's a lot closer to me, and it's
Close.
by the same owners. But
drive
yeah,
it.
it's like central Wisconsin.
Well, we know guys in Milwaukee that would
Yeah,
play with us.
Yeah.
I've heard from my business partner Jason. I've heard that it's like same atmosphere, same vibes.
Yep.
Like
That's kind of
yeah,
what I've heard too. They call it like the Bannon of the Midwest, basically. There's
Yeah.
yeah.
I think
But-
the only thing you're not going to get there is you're not going to be on the ocean, but
Right.
that's
Sure.
splitting hairs at that point. Playing
Well,
world-class
I
golf
appreciate you
courses.
dropping some knowledge on that. I like some little history lesson like that. I like that.
Sure.
So that's
Yeah.
awesome. So we are gonna kind of just switch it up a little bit. We'll talk obviously Super Bowl picks too as well, but Waste
Okay.
Management Phoenix Open, that is this week. We each pick 3 golfers. I believe we're gonna do who we think's gonna win, who we want to win, and kind of a dark horse pick, so to speak.
Yep.
So Scotty, we'll let you kick it off. Who do you you can give your 3? Well, actually, we'll go around the table here. The first one here is who
Okay.
do you think's gonna win?
So all my picks are going to be biased, and I'll give you my reasons why as we work
I
through.
love it. Okay, that sounds good.
Uh,
Fire
Best
away.
way to pick.
Yeah, so who I think's gonna win is Utah's own Tony Finau. He's like the Utah ambassador. I think he's like 18-1, so that's like it's not that far of a stretch on. I think he's like top like 6 or 7 in odds. So I'm gonna pick our guy Tony, who does like so much work for youth golf here, and his story's super cool. I'm sure you guys know about it, but yeah. So I'm going Tony with the favorite.
He would need like two kid caddies or maybe 3.
He might need a whole caravan caddy
He's
with. Yeah.
he's like 5 or 6 kids, I think.
I
but-
had to think. I was like, you get double strollers. I was like, I still need the more.
Yeah. Okay, Dom, who you got? Who you think's gonna win?
So my favorite's biased as well, mainly because people have compared me to him. I picked Colin Morikawa.
I knew you were gonna pick Colin.
I love
Wait,
that.
how are you like Colin Morikawa?
So we had the par train on back in like it was warm whenever he was on. I'm not
Yeah.
going to the months. And we were talking about my lack of a mental game because I don't have one. I'm like, oh, that club looks good. Let's take it and hit it. Um,
He's the most down, like go with the flow golfer you've ever played with.
I
Like,
love
and
I
it.
could tell him like, Dom, grab your 3 iron. I'd be like, all right, cool, let's do it.
I don't have a 3 iron. I got a 2 iron.
Okay, but whatever. You know what I
Um,
mean? Like
Grab the
it's that way.
2 iron.
It's
and
awesome.
he was like, yeah, Colin does that. I was like, what? Like, am I onto something? He goes, yeah, Colin has like a mental coach or whatever where he focuses on not getting too into the club he picks just to pick a club. And I was like, I'm doing that for years. I just go, okay, we're this far out. I can hit this club that far. Like, let's do it.
That's Dom's claim to fame. Par
I
train.
love it.
Well, that
Ethan.
Evan,
Evan. Yeah, Evan.
Jesus
I
Christ.
know. Jeez, terrible. Evan. That's Dom's claim to fame now. Every time it's
Well,
called
the best part
Morikawa
is like people messaging me and they were like, did he compare you to Colin?
I was like,
And then I was at a simulator and I was getting my swing looked at. Turns out I have a weird grip. And by weird grip, I mean it sucks. So we fixed my grip, but ironically, he was using a video of Colin Morikawa.
look at that.
He's like, yeah,
Posture.
you should use this grip like Colin Morikawa. I was like,
You should switch your name too.
well, I was like, do you listen to the par train? He goes, no, who's that? And I was like, he compared me to Colin. So yeah, Colin, if you got to take it home, Bucko.
Colin
That's great.
Morikawa. I like that. I'm gonna go. I think Rory's gonna win it. I think he's plus 850. I think he's like second or third right now, favored to win it. And
Oh yeah, Colin's plus 1800.
yeah, so again, Rory. I know there's been a lot of with the live and the PGA and all that. There's been a lot of people that hate Rory and people that are obsessed with Rory. But I just think overall, he's probably got my favorite golf swing of all time. And I think
I
he just
mean,
again,
great golf swing. Incredible
it's
swing.
it's one of the prettiest swings I think I've ever seen. So, and he's playing good golf, and I think his mindset's in the right place. I think that's who I'm
He's
gonna.
due for a big year here one of these years, right?
Yeah,
Like it's gotta be soon. He's gonna turn the corner. Like, I mean, I remember
and
watching him when I was younger, and the there are just times where he would just be, especially with his irons, just be so nasty. Like, you could be watching the second round and he'd be so dialed in. He'd be like, this tournament is over. Like, if he's gonna play that way, that anyways, I don't think there's a lot of guys you can say that about on the
no.
PGA
See, I
Tour.
mean, a lot of people did kind of compare like he was gonna be the next Tiger. I mean, he had that Tiger-esque, even with the physique and all that, like his mentality.
Yeah,
But yeah, same thing. He would have already almost won the tournament by Saturday afternoon.
yeah.
You know what I mean? There's another full day. So, yeah, I think if he does get hot, I think he's gonna be one of those guys that's gonna be tough to stop, tough to beat. So yeah, that's what I'm going with who I think's gonna win.
Do you want to do your who do you want? And then we just kind of go.
Yeah, let's go. Well,
Was it like a snake? I don't know.
yeah, we'll go backwards.
Snake
So
draft.
yeah,
Hell yeah.
who I want to win is my guy. I talk about him a lot when we talk when the PGA Tour is cooking, but is Ricky Fowler, one of those other guys growing up, 33. Ricky, Rory were those two guys that were kind of I paved the
Former
way, I
waste
think.
management winner. Former waste
For-
management winner. Yeah.
exactly. And that atmosphere, you know, loves Ricky Fowler. And so I think if he can get, start off with a good Thursday and put himself in there in contention and just hang on to it. And I know he's been doing some more stuff with Butch Harmon back to the swing and all that. And I
Did he lose his card?
no, but he had
No.
a
Was he
chance. There
close?
was a couple where he had to play like qualifying tournaments because there was like his exemption was coming up. So he still
Uh,
technically does have to, I think, qualify for tournaments, I believe.
you're talking about Ricky's swing. I saw it's probably on something on Instagram, but I saw a comparison of his 2022 to his 2023 swing, and then they compared it back to his like I want to say like 2012, 2013 swing when he was, top 10 in the world. And it looks like he's getting back. So
Yep.
my roommate in college is probably the biggest Ricky Fowler fan I know.
Oh, you should
We
meet this guy.
I'm probably not as big
we
as him, but
we
yeah, I'm a big
do
fan of him too.
we always wager, like we'll pick guys and do like a little pool of who we want to win. Like without fail through the ups and downs, picked Ricky Fowler. So I'm rooting for Ricky. I've turned the corner on him. I really want him to turn it around.
So since we're talking about sports, he reminds me a lot of Cody Bellinger, where Bellinger won
Yeah.
MVP. For some reason, he changed his swing, and now he's like, I don't want to say he's bad because obviously 1 year he could change it all, but basically Cody changed his swing after he won MVP. God knows why. And now he hits the ball on the ground just like Yelich does, and it's bad. So
Is he
I'm
switching it back up now or no?
and nobody knows. He's on the. I mean, Dodgers cut him, but
Yeah.
basically,
Where's
moral of
he? Where did he sign? Where did Bellinger sign?
1 year with the Cubs.
Cubs.
Yeah. So I mean, it's like good risk, good reward. Basically, moral of the story is if you're an athlete, don't switch anything.
Well, he was like Ricky was one of like the hottest putters out there, but no, I mean even the Masters, I think he finished runner up, or he was in the top 5 for like 3 straight years. He finished in the
I
top
remember
5
that.
or top 10. I mean, he
There
was
was a stretch there. I think it was like, I can't remember exactly, but like 5 or 6 straight majors where he was top five
Yeah.
finisher. You know, this
That's
is
why
5
everyone
years
was
ago,
like,
but
he just needs that one major, and I think he will continue to like win majors. But I don't know if it was more of a mental game because he could bomb. I mean, he's not a very big guy at all, but he could mash a ball and his putting was really
yeah,
good. I think he was kind of struggled with his irons and his, a little bit, but we'll see. I think he might have a breakout year. Hopefully so. Because I think everyone would like to see him. I've never really met anyone that doesn't like Ricky Fowler, to be honest.
I think it's good for golf if he's good. You
Yeah.
know, there's a lot going on with the tours and like the split of players and stuff like that. And I think the PGA Tour is better when Ricky is good. I think it's good for the
100%.
product.
Tom, who do you want to win?
So who doesn't want to see Jordan Spieth win it?
I was contemplating on picking Jordan. I like that.
First big event of the year. Like, who wouldn't want Jordan Spieth to be there?
Just see him like crushing a beer on Sunday.
That's what I'm saying. Or on Friday,
Yeah,
who
or
cares?
Friday. He's got like on Happy Gilmore, somebody's rocking the thing and he starts running over there about to go grab a beer. No, but
Well, I
Another
mean,
guy who's made some like swing changes too, you know, like
yeah,
over the
I
last
don't know
couple of
why
years.
these guys
Yeah.
are screwing with anything.
I
Like,
think it's more mental. Like, that's not working. I gotta change it. And it's like, no, your swing is there.
I was so
Yeah.
going back to baseball. I love baseball. If anybody's curious, that's my favorite sport. Pete Rose was actually talking about hitting, and this kind of stuck with me even in golf. So I think this kind of merits a little
So relevant.
little tangent. Pete Rose, I think he was talking to it might have been Poppy, it might have been David Ortiz.
Oh yeah.
He was saying your swing got you to the majors, right?
Mhm.
Your swing got you on the PGA Tour. So what Pete Rose was saying was when he was in a slump, he would either stand forward in the box, stand backwards in the box, stand off to the side, or stand closer to the plate. But he never changed his swing. So maybe that could be golf, where it's like, okay, maybe you're towing it, stand a little closer type of thing. Or
Yeah,
maybe
your
it's your
swing isn't
grip.
really the issue. It could
Yeah.
be, yeah. No, I like that. That's kind of a nice
But
comparison.
yeah, who wouldn't want to see Spieth hold up the garbage truck trophy? I don't know what their
Another
trophy is.
stand-up golfer too. That's like you don't
He's super
you root for him.
quiet.
You know what I mean? Yeah, like you
He's super quiet,
yeah.
but he's probably one of the most fun guys on tour.
oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Spieth, when he was younger, when he was having all that success, when he was, you know, in his early 20s or even maybe before that, he would bother me because he'd misshit a shot. He'd be winning a tournament, a major, misshit a shot and like yell something at his caddy. And like that used to rub me the wrong way back in the day. But another guy I've like totally just turned the corner on. And I've actually liked watching the process of him like go from being the greatest in the world, like drop all the way out of the top 50 in the world golf rankings and like start to make a comeback. And another guy that would be like awesome to have like a huge year. I want to see like serious competition back on the PGA Tour where like a lot of guys are firing. And I know it's hard with talent spread across the different tours, but I want to see, you know, we know it's in there for Ricky. We know it's in there for Spieth. I want to see those guys like battling John Rahm and battling Justin Thomas and
Scotty,
you know,
Scotty
making it
Scheffler.
interesting.
Xander.
Yeah.
Xander. Yeah, there's a lot of
Yeah.
good names out there, but I agree with you. That kind of that younger
I-
generation, if they can kind of
I think that's the cool thing with golf right now, though, is it feels so volatile. You know, like you can go from number one and then just crash and burn and go to 50.
yeah, Tiger Woods on there for how many weeks, forever. But Scotty, who do you want to win?
So this is a guy who's still like, it's not. You guys are picking like more like longer shots. I'm not going to pick a longer shot. Just like my favorite player on the tour, the guy who I always kind of want to win. That's Max Homa.
Max is
just-
awesome.
I love it. I mean, I fell in love with him when he was doing all the Twitter stuff, you know, a few years back.
The roasts and stuff like that, where people like,
Yeah, he'd roast people's
I love
swings.
that.
I love that.
Yeah.
And then his story is super cool too. Like, you know, he was cut from I don't know the exact number, but missed cuts on like his first, like 19 of his first tour events, lost his card, went back to like the Corn Ferry Tour or whatever they were calling it back then.
Yep.
And now he's like back, and I think that over the last like 25 months has won more tournaments than anybody else. So I'm a big Max fan.
And he just won. He's like
He did
Mr.
just win.
California. What is it? Like he's won like I think 5 or 6 tournaments and they've all been in California.
I heard
Yeah,
that.
that's
Yeah,
right.
he-
And but so little inside info on Max. He lives in Arizona part-time now and plays TBC Scottsdale all the time. So hopefully he's got a head start on the course.
So he should be race ready. I like that pick. What is his um odds right now? Did you have that?
I do have it. Hold on, let me go back and look. It's 22 to 1.
22.
So,
Okay.
plus 2200.
That's not bad. I think one of my favorite ones on that Twitter is where like this guy actually like literally like mashes a 3-wood and it was actually like a pure shot and he was like, roast or rate my swing or whatever, and he said something like, yeah, it's pretty nice, but if you're looking for PGA Tour tickets and you want to see me play or something like that, it's like you can get your tickets here or whatever. It was just something like
He's
that.
so
It's like,
good.
yeah, just the stuff he comes up with is clever. But okay, so my dark horse is gonna be Keegan Bradley.
Oh, we really screwed up the order.
Oh
it's
yeah, I
all
did.
right.
I'm sorry. I totally.
Let's
I
just
let
do
Scotty
it.
finish it. Let him. But yeah. So
Yeah.
my dark horse is Keegan Bradley, another one of those guys that's been around for a while. He kind of had feel like some hiccups, mental issues. I know he had like his pre-shot routine that took like 17 minutes, but he's kind of got
Yeah.
dialed back in. And I think like with Bobby Berger, the Bobby does sports, Bob does sports and all that. Like they've
Yeah.
kind of developed this like relationship or friendship, I should say, not relationship, but friendship where
Yeah.
like I think you can kind of see now like the lighter side of Keegan Bradley, and he's like, because I feel like he was very like intense, and
Yeah, I
think
feel like he's turned a corner for sure.
Yeah.
And he's a Jordan guy, and so I
And
like
he's a
that
big
too.
Jordan
That's
guy,
cool.
yep.
I think like at some point this winter there was that member guest tournament at Jordan's club, like at the golf
Grove, I
course
think
that
is
he
that what
just
it's called?
built. Yeah, the Grove. That's right.
Grove,
Thank
yeah.
you. And Keegan was paired with Jordan. Like Jordan picked Keegan to be his partner. And I was like, how like you got to give the guy some sort of respect out, like because Michael Jordan can pick anybody in the world that he wants to play with. He wants to play with Keegan Bradley, so got to give him something
For sure. Dom, who's your
Oh,
dark
it's my
horse?
turn. So I went with Cameron Champ.
Oh yeah, okay. He's another young guy that's got a lot of talent.
Hits the ball well. He's got plus 30,000 odds, so like that's a true like dark horse.
That
sleeper.
is a pretty
true
good
dark
one.
horse.
Yeah.
I never know what to pick for the dark horse, especially since I didn't see Bubba, because Bubba's my favorite. So everybody's like, "Oh, he's gonna go with Bubba." I did not go with Bubba because I could not find him on the odds sheet. Thank you
Well,
very
Well,
much.
Bubba's
'cause he's in Live
Bubba's
Golf.
live tour guy.
That doesn't mean anything.
Well, he's not playing that tournament. No, he can't play.
Well, I thought he was still injured.
No, I think he's healthy now, but
Oh,
yeah,
I
he
thought he was
can't.
still injured.
So the only tournaments technically he can play in is
Or majors, right?
yeah, right now. Yeah.
Yep.
So yeah, anyways, I went Cameron Champ, hits the ball well. I feel like he's just a solid overall player, and I feel like 30,000 to 1 is not doing him quite justice on what he can do. Plus, I kind of scrolling through it and I'm like, oh, I like that. So
Yeah, you went like straight up real dark horse, which is I was
well, isn't that the point?
yeah, no,
Like,
I was like
It
scrolling
is.
down there quite a bit, but I'm like plus 7,000 still isn't. I mean, it's not
Oh,
terrible, but
30,000.
it's it's nowhere near there. Scotty, who's your dark horse?
My favorite thing was before he answered, Scotty was like, well, what do you consider a dark horse?
Yeah, I was like, tell me how dark I need to get here. You know what I mean? Like, I didn't want to pick like I don't know, like Corey Connors or something like that, and have you guys be like, oh, he's like 80 to 1, that doesn't count, or something.
Yeah,
So I'm glad you guys clarified. All right, for me, my dark horse is Wyndham Clark, and I know you guys are gonna be like, oh, who picks Wyndham Clark?
I almost picked him.
I
Did
honestly,
you?
I did, mainly because I have his autograph. That's the only reason.
So I don't have any like deep
insight or
insider
intel?
knowledge or anything. The only reason why, so he's 130 to 1. Only reason why I'm picking Wyndham Clark is, like I was telling you, I'm from Oregon. He went to the University of Oregon. I root for him and Aaron Wise. Those are both University of Oregon golfers, former University of Oregon golfers who are on the tour now. So, and I only picked Wyndham over Wise because Wyndham was longer odds. I think Aaron Wise is like 80-1 or something like that. So
Gotcha.
Wyndham Clark's my dark horse.
Okay,
Yeah,
so
I have his autograph because I believe he was at
so
the
3M.
3M Open the
Yeah.
first year because I think I have a Max Homa autograph too.
Yeah, Cameron
Nice.
Champ won it that year. Was it not last year, the year before?
First year, I think
Yeah,
he won
yeah,
it.
2 years ago.
But yeah, I like to pick Wyndham. There's been a few times I picked him just because of his name.
It's kind of a dope name actually. Wyndham.
Yeah.
Yeah, my dark horses never make any sense.
Well, Champ, I mean, it's literally got champion, like, right, you know what I mean? Like, that's a pretty
Well, I
pretty
mean,
awesome
we've
last name to
seen
have
him
as a
win
golfer.
events before, so
Yeah.
why couldn't he win this? That's kind of my thought
For sure.
process.
When
Um,
he made a run a couple years ago, Champ, like, what was it like? I think it was the COVID year or after the COVID year where he was
Yeah,
like he was right there the whole way.
Yeah,
Yeah.
2020,
he's-
because that was the year he won the 3M here. That's in our
Yeah.
in Minnesota here. But another one of those guys that can hit a ball a mile. I think he's got all the talent, just trying to piece it all together for 4 days.
Looks like an athlete too. Like
Yeah.
I like the PGA Tour guys that look like athletes, and he
Right.
looks like he can dunk a basketball and
Multi-sport type of guy.
yeah.
So we'll do Super Bowl and then just get a food pick. And I know we're kind of running a little long, so I apologize. But
It's all good.
what are your thoughts on the Waste Management Open though itself? So like last year, it was crazy, the hole in one and all that, and all the beer and all that was getting
Weren't there
thrown up.
multiple hole in ones?
There was 2,
Yeah.
But I don't know. I've heard that they were gonna put nets up, and I haven't seen anything about that because they didn't want that to be because that was like a huge delay. But
Yeah.
so kind of a follow-up question with that. What are your thoughts on that? And then secondly, do you think that the PGA Tour should do more than one of these type of events, or do you think it's like more special because there's only like one event like this per year? As
Yeah.
far as like the fans being all rowdy and like having a good old time.
So I think that the PGA Tour is super stuffy and like has an image problem that I think that they're working on and doing a much better job with it. So I'm all for the Waste Management Open. For me, it's the unofficial start of the golf season. I like the Century Tournament of Champions. I love the AT&T Pro-Am that they did last week. So not saying that those aren't viable tournaments, but this really feels like the start of the golf tournament or the start of the golf season for me. And I like that it's rowdy. I like that kids are down there on, I guess it's not spring break, but I like that.
Was like it.
I like when there's hole in ones and they're throwing beers on the.
Could you
on the course.
imagine
I'm
that
not saying
place for spring break?
Oh yeah,
Like, not to interrupt, but like, could you imagine how absolutely nuts it'd be to have college kids running around drunk?
I
Sign
think
me
it's
up.
good. I think it's good for golf. So to answer the second part of your question, should there be other tournaments like this? Like, yeah, I think in the right capacity, like if you planned it out the right way, for sure. I think that there is. I'm also a big fan of the tradition of golf. Like my favorite tournament's the Masters tournament. Like,
Yeah.
in
Just the
college, I
exact
used
opposite, right?
yeah, in college, I used to skip class on Thursday, Friday, and watch it all day with my buddies, and watch it all through the weekend. And so I do like the tradition of it, but I do think that golf is a product, and the way to make that product better is to make it more approachable for more people, and that just gets you better players and gets you more coverage and gets you more money, and then just makes I think just makes the business and the product that much better. So I think that they should definitely do more things like this. Like imagine if they did we'll just pick on spring break, a spring break tournament in Miami where it was like something similar.
That would be nice.
Yeah, it'd be a lot of fun. So I think that there's a lot that they could expand on there. And to the people that like throw shade on the Waste Management, it's like, well, then enjoy the rest of the tour. Like
Yeah,
let
many
the
other
guys
tournaments?
have this one week. And clearly the players like it too. So the players don't
Yeah,
seem
I've
to
never
have-
seen one of the players like talk bad about the tournament. I mean, the environment is
Yeah.
pretty awesome. I think for me, if I was to like expand something a little bit differently, I think like a night golf tournament would be really cool, like in prime time, like prime
That'd be
time
cool.
TV, like whether it's a 4-day or if maybe it's just a 3-day tournament, but like Friday, Saturday, Sunday or something like that. I think that would be awesome. Like,
Well, what they did that I don't know if it was the match in particular, but
Yeah.
Tiger Woods did that night golf tournament,
That was-
not tournament, but charity event this year or whatever. And I
Yeah,
thought that
the
was
match
pretty
with-
cool.
I just want to see them hit glow in the dark balls and just watch them get launched. You know what I mean? Like I think that'd be crazy to watch like a DeChambeau just absolutely murder a ball that glows. To just feel like a
380
tracer.
yards. Yeah, no,
Oh, that'd be
that'd be pretty
so
sick.
cool.
Okay, so a couple more questions and then we'll wrap it up. Like I said, I
No, no
apologize.
problem.
Okay, Super Bowl Sunday in
Yeah.
Arizona as well, which is going to be an insane time, I'd imagine. Probably.
What a time to be in Arizona. I wish I could be down
Yes,
there.
I'd imagine it's got to be uber expensive down there right now, or over there, I should say. But still,
Yeah.
regardless, be a blast. We haven't really talked any football. We talked basketball, baseball, and golf, obviously. But first, are you an NFL football fan? Who's your team? And then secondly, who do you think is going to win the Super Bowl?
Yeah, big NFL fan, do fantasy football, probably gamble too much on football during the year.
Did you win this year?
No, I did not. So I'm in 3 leagues and I finished in 3rd place twice. But the hard part finishing in 3rd place is, you play the consolation match that you lost the week before.
Mhm.
And my score in the 3rd place match would have won me the title in both. If I would have won the week
whole
before,
thing.
I would have won 2 titles. The other one I finished like 6th or something like that. So no wins this year, but no last place either. So that's good.
Yeah, you gotta do like some
I got
crazy.
first, third, and fourth.
Yeah, 1st, 3rd, and so you won one this year.
Yeah,
No, that's
yeah. I
legit.
beat my boss. It was pretty good. He goes, "Oh, you won?" I was like, "Yeah." He goes, "Do you want a cookie?" And I was like, "Do you have a cookie?" Because like, hell yeah.
My team is the Bills. So this is kind of a roundabout way to become a Bills fan. So I was a Washington Redskins fan all growing up, and then when I was in college, there was just like that's just a mess of a franchise under Daniel Snyder. We weren't going anywhere. It still is, right? And so it's like the only time in my life I still get shit to this day from my buddies where I'm just like I'm done with this team. I'm like I can't root for them with the way that it's run, and then just like all the underlying like social issues with that team. Um, and so I was sitting on the couch with my roommate, and he was like, "Well, you have to pick another team, and it can't be, you can't pick the Pats, which I'd never pick. I'm like anti-Boston, but like I think you can't pick a good team." I was like, "Fine, I picked the Bills, who were like the worst team like for the last 20
They were
years."
bad, yeah,
And so
Is
now
that
we're in the
like
sunshine, but I've been through it with them. So I'm a Bills fan by total circumstance, but it's been a fun ride. It's been a fun ride along the way. So hopefully we finally get over the hump next year.
I just don't think they just didn't show. They looked off when they played against the Bengals. I mean, the Bengals are really good.
Cincinnati just beat us. I don't know how to say it any other way now. They look better everywhere.
They did.
And so I don't know what to say other than that. But I think the only defense I have for the Bills is it was just that team's been through a ton since they lost to Kansas City last year, like with 14 seconds left, and like Dawson Knox's brother died, and then there was like sorry not to get so morose, but there was like the shooting in Buffalo, and then the DeMar Hamlin thing, and it's like I think that team just went through so much over the last year that it's like I think that it just took their toll on them, and they had a ton of injuries on defense in particular, and it just wasn't the year. So hopefully next year,
That's an exciting couple of teams though. The Bengals, Chiefs, and the Bills, like that. Those are all really good teams with really good quarterbacks. So that's
the AFC is in a good spot. The AFC is going to be a lot of fun for years.
We'll be there for a while. Absolutely. So who do you think is gonna? Would you think Kansas City's gonna pull it off?
Yeah. So I like Kansas City. I think that Philadelphia, like position by position, is probably more talented. But I'm gonna take Patrick Mahomes, and like I'd rather lose with Patrick Mahomes than like bet against him and be like, yeah, why didn't I take Patrick Mahomes? I think that guy's, not breaking news here, superstar, and so like I'd rather lose with him than bet against him.
That's how I feel. I feel like position wise, they're all pretty similar. They broke it down to where they each have like 3 or 4 all pros or whatever, and the records are the same, points are the same. But who's won it more recently, in terms of experience, it's the Chiefs. Like I understand the Eagles have won it, but a lot of the players who were on the Eagles when they won aren't on the Eagles anymore, other than like Jason Kelsey.
Yep.
And well, maybe some O-line guys, but like I think it's gonna come down to experience. And when it comes to experience, it's hard to beat a team that's been pretty well stuck together since they won their last Super Bowl against my Niners.
I'll be interested to see how well Jalen Hurts plays because I mean he has so many weapons. Like offensively, they have a lot of weapons, and I think defensively Philadelphia is much better. But again,
So
I
actually, not to totally burst your bubble here, it came out that this week, Brandon Ayuk, wide receiver for the 49ers,
oh yeah, I seen that.
he was like, hey,
I saw that.
they're beatable. And I was like, shit. Because that means if Purdy didn't tear his UCL and have to have Tommy John, there's a chance.
Yeah, I wish that game would have went to, that was kind of unfortunate because the 49ers, they were
I
kind of just
think I think
out of
Kansas
it.
City's defense is better than people give them credit for too. I'm not
think
saying
so,
they're
too.
great. I think the Eagles defense is better. That's not what
Yeah.
I'm saying, but I think Kansas City's defense is better than people give them credit for. I
Sure.
think they do.
I think what Kansas City does better than anybody else is improvise. You know, with all Mahomes' little shovel passes or under the hand passes, I feel like there's always a way that they find to get the ball to the playmaker.
Yeah.
Whether it's McKinnon coming on late in the year or they somehow Kelsey's always open, which always
Crazy.
bothers
Only
me. Like you gotta
only his
cover
whole
that,
career.
man.
Only his whole
Yeah,
career. You think that
seriously.
they'd figure it out, but no.
You would think. So for me, it's going to come down to experience and who can get open more. Well, I mean, it's Chiefs 2 for 2.
Yeah. I'm picking the Chiefs too. I know like their secondary is a little beat up, but I mean, obviously they've had a couple weeks of rest. So, and you don't have to be the best defensive team to win the Super Bowl as long as you know what I mean? Like it's kind of proven that like if you have a decent defense and you have a really good, arguably the best quarterback in the league that's
Yeah.
shifty, it's hard, like you said, it's hard to bet against them. So,
Yeah.
that's kind of who I'm taking as well. The last question we have for you is we always kind of end on a food question,
Okay.
and basically be two questions, kind of two. So if you had one last meal, it could be a whole day. You can start with breakfast, lunch, and dinner. What would it be? And then
Okay.
secondly, if we're coming to Salt Lake City in that area, um, what would be something that you would suggest us to go try as far as a restaurant?
All right. Last meal, breakfast, lunch, and dinner. For breakfast, I'm gonna have French toast with bacon and over easy eggs. And if it's my last meal, I'm gonna be honest, I'm probably having a mimosa with breakfast. Like we're gonna
There
have
you
a
go.
day.
Okay.
We're
Yeah.
gonna
What
have
about
a
a
day.
screwdriver?
Screwdriver,
Sure,
yeah.
sure.
Good too.
Why not? It's the
Tequila
last day.
sunrise.
Both. Yeah.
You do everything. Tequila sunrise.
For lunch, I'm gonna have like a really good Italian sub. There's a really good Italian like sub shop here called Caputo's in Salt Lake City. Um, I'm probably gonna have one of those, and then dinner. Dinner's easy for me. I'm gonna have a ribeye steak with a caprese salad, and then for dessert, I'm just gonna have a bunch of scotch. Is really what I'm gonna have for dessert.
Okay,
It's
so
my
the
last
ribeye,
day.
yeah, you
Yeah,
gotta go
ribeye is
all.
my favorite cut. So like a really thick ribeye steak and a caprese salad sounds good to me.
I like it.
Um, and then sorry, Salt Lake City food recommendation. Is that what you're
Yeah,
looking
yeah. If
for?
we were on that area, what would you suggest for us to go try?
So Salt Lake's kind of a sneaky good food town. There's like really good like new American restaurants, but I think if you're coming to Salt Lake, if you're going to eat at one place, this is going to sound random, and I'm probably going to get some heat. My buddies are going to listen to this. I'm probably going to get some heat for this. I'm going to eat at Feldman's Deli. So Feldman's Deli is a Jewish deli here in Salt Lake City. They make like mile high like pastrami and corned beef sandwiches. I don't know if you guys like Reubens and stuff like that, but
Love Rubens.
just I've eaten at Katz in
Big
like
fan.
the famous place in New York. It's like right on par with that, and you can like get a beer there, and like the atmosphere is cool. If you go at night, they've got live music, super good sandwiches. I think I'm going to Feldman's.
Feldman's.
I totally thought you were gonna be like, yeah, McDonald's.
I honestly was like, you're gonna say like a fast food
Yeah,
restaurant. Like, yeah, we got one like
No,
that.
no. Little local deli. Very, very good, very approachable place to eat.
Awesome. Scotty, man, thanks so much. It's been a pleasure. Appreciate you taking the time. And like I said, I know it went a little longer than probably we'd said it was gonna go. So appreciate it.
That's
We had a
right.
blast, and would love to have you on again when you get some of the other products released, and we can kind of go over those items as well. And so maybe later on this year or even early next year, whatever kind of works, we'll have you on again.
would love to do a follow-up. Like I told you before, I know that you guys have done a couple of local Utah companies. Let's get you guys out here, get you guys on some courses. I can show you guys around and show you what I was telling you about the $50 golf in Salt Lake City. It's beats just about anywhere.
It sounds like a plan. Appreciate it. Thanks again, and you have a good rest of the week. And if there's anything that you need from us as far as putting
What are you trying to say?
the link, do you have a link or anything like that you want us to? Are we doing anything with
No.
for? Okay, we're not. Okay, I just wanted to make sure. So cool.
No,
All
I
right,
mean,
well,
yeah, if you guys want to link out to the site or whatever on the notes or whatever, that's fine. And we'll probably end up promoting this on, well, not probably, we're gonna end up promoting this on our
yeah,
our social channels. So yeah.
Yeah, I'd tag all of the stuff in the comments. I do like hyperlinks and everything. I think Derek was asking like if we set up any kind of promo code,
Yeah,
which we did not do.
okay. No,
No,
that's
no
fine. I just wanted
promo.
to make sure if in case we forgot anything. So
No, it's such a premium item.
Yeah.
Which I mean, I'm not gonna put them on spot either, but like I love it. I think people will love it.
same. I said I just didn't want to forget if there was. So no.
No, for sure.
Again, Scotty, thanks so much, and you have a good rest of the week.
All right, fellas.
Go Wyndham.
Yeah, go Wyndham
Wyndham.
Clark.